the district requested input for public comments in the superintendent's newsletter. The plan is available on our website, and public comments were received during the Rail Safe Advisory Committee meeting on June 9th. We are looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
There's a motion by Amy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lynn. Maybe I'll ask Lynn, is there anything that you'd like to add regarding the conversation at RailSafe? I was not able to attend.
I don't remember anything that was
Outlandish?
It was pretty much specified in the document that John sent, the Rail Safe plan. It's
Okay.
pretty clear.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding our new RailSafe plan?
The only comment I wanted to make is with the reference to our mask policy, because it's different in the Rail Safe plan for the summer than it is in our mask policy in 808, I think it is. So if there could just, and I know that we'll get something from Terry Morrow in the future as to what to do about that particular policy. And maybe it will be in place in the fall. We really don't know. But if there could be some kind of a disclaimer in the Rail Safe plan, that in the summer we are using the CDC and MDH guidelines. Maybe nobody wants to hear me anyway. Like, why doesn't she shut up?
Thoughts?
I can make that change right in the RailSafe return to safe in-person learning plan.
Okay.
I'll just make a disclaimer saying that we're following this policy rather than the policy found in our school board policy.
Okay.
And I'll reference the
Pending updates from,
Yeah. School Board Association
I was going to
recommended.
say MSBA would probably be the ones from statute changes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. With a motion and a second and some conversation, we can go ahead with all those in favor say, I'm ready to say roll call vote, geez. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to the new item E then, adopt a resolution of accepting gifts received. On May 21st, 2021, the Ignatius Fund, $2,049.50 for suggested use of high school English reading. May 28th, 2021, Northern Oral and Maxillofacial, $250 for the HOSA chapter for the Pathways program. And on May 28th, 2021, Maurice's gift, $650 with the suggested use of the high school. This is a resolution. We'll need a motion to start.
So moved.
There's a motion by Lynn. Is there a second?
Second by Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions regarding any of these gifts that have been received? Hearing none, we'll go ahead with a roll call vote.
Peterson, yes. Pokranich,
Yes.
Podgornik,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Parmeter. Yes. Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go, item F now is from the consent agenda, number 19. Approve a recommendation from the School Board Individual Contract Committee to approve the superintendent's 2-year contract for the 2021 through 23 school years, which reflects a 1.8% increase in year 1 and a 0.5 increase in year 2. Lori emailed the contract to you separately. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll do a motion for it.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a second? I can second that. Does anyone have any questions regarding this motion?
I would like to see this table for 2 months.
Okay.
I had some questions about it that I just want to make sure that I understand everything. And I know, I did reach out to Joe. Joe, it sounds like we had a busy afternoon today. So I'd love to see some of the information in the meeting.
Okay.
So, just for time.
see some, I can't hear.
She wanted to table it because she had sent some questions, and she'd like those questions answered before
Okay.
she votes.
Okay.
Okay?
Did you just send those to Joe, I assume? Okay.
All right. Then, okay, so there is a motion to table this until the June 28th board meeting. That's a motion then?
Yes.
Okay. And is there a second? I have to think about this. A motion to table.
Well, there's one motion.
We
on the
already have a
table.
motion on the table. So if I'm going to have another motion to table, I need to. Okay, thank you. So, I think that's right. That's what I was saying. So my motion, so there's a motion to table. And was there someone that was seconding that? Is there a second?
Was mine the motion?
Yes.
Or you making the motion? Okay.
You made the motion to table this item until in 2 weeks. So I'm just asking for support for that with a second. Okay?
I did have a question, not on the table, on the tabled motion, but I did have a question on, of course I have a question.
Get through your table motion first.
All right.
Right.
All right. So just to be clear, we have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation for this contract. We also have a motion to table this item for 2 weeks to provide clarity in having a couple questions regarding the contract. And that one does not have a second.
It's regarding the recommendation.
Right. So you're asking to table this item?
Yes.
Yes, so I have a recommendation without a supportive second. Yes. So I'm just asking for a second. Okay? That motion fails for lack of support. We're back to the motion on the table. That is a motion by Podgornick and a second by McDonald to approve a recommendation from the School Board Individual Contract Committee to approve the superintendent's 2-year contract as presented here. With a motion and a second, I will go with, if there's any other questions that we can address right here.
Have-
Lynn had a question. Is it something that you wanted to address right now, today?
I have other questions that I sent to Joe, but this is a question, it was a curiosity question about the contract. So in terms of, because I know I've called you on weekends, I've called you all hours of the day. So how do we know if you're on vacation, or how do we know if you have a sick, how do we know that? I mean, do you report to the chair, or do you tell Robin?
I tell Robin.
You tell Robin?
Yeah, and I looked into this as we were doing negotiations. The way John takes a day off, vacation day, sick day, no matter what the circumstance is, he follows the same procedures that all of our employees follow.
Okay.
So it's a yellow card.
I didn't even know if
Right.
they had those
Oh,
anymore.
yeah?
Okay. Because I know you're like the boss, and then you have to give a yellow card to a subordinate, so I just had a question.
So I did.
I didn't know. Okay.
What is the yellow card? Is that just like a sheet of paper saying that you're going to be off?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
request for vacation,
Thank
sick
you.
leave.
I just wanted.
It's literally a yellow card.
yes.
It's about this big, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, you might hear of it as a blue slip trade. You know,
Opportunity
that was a
to
thing.
monitor and control what's happening with days off and
Yep.
et cetera.
Okay. Thank you. That was just a,
Just a little bit of clarification. Some of our employees do it electronically now, to an electronic system, but
Same cons.
same concept.
We're going to call it a yellow card.
Yep.
It's just the virtual yellow card.
There you
yeah.
go.
It's a yellow screen, maybe.
Sure. Kim, in a similar fashion, is there a question that is easily asked in such a way at a public meeting in this way that you had a question of?
Well, I would like to just address a few things with the timing of all of this. I would like to, the reason that I'm requesting a motion for an additional 2 weeks to review is the email that I sent to Joe is that I would like a copy of the report of the individual contract committee regarding the recommendation for Superintendent Engelking's contract extension. That it's just a simple request. It is absolutely no reflection on John. Please understand that. I just also feel like, having worked on the policy committee, we give our policies a lot more time than this. This has come up. I was first informed of this 4 days ago. I double-checked and triple-checked emails. Please correct me if that is wrong, but I was informed of this 4 days ago. And earlier today, I received the email from John saying, if you have any questions, reach out to Joe. And I followed that procedure. So I don't think it is a big deal to ask, when a board member has a question and asks for more time to research answers. And this is probably the single biggest, most important thing that we do as a board. I'm asking for an additional 2 weeks to suss out those answers. I think that's a noble request, and I think that it should be adhered to. So I would ask for another motion.
If I can, Madam Chair, I'll address a little bit of that.
Please.
The individual contract committee, the only report that can be filed is the recommendation. You can't file the report on what happened in negotiations, because there's a back and forth, and some of that is protected. And to discuss different things, no matter what the entity is that we're negotiating with, to publicly discuss some of that would get us into deep trouble with the Department of Labor.
Kim, I'd ask you to look at the contract and look at what the red lines are. Those are the only adjustments made in the contract. Hasn't changed.
Right.
Okay.
Right, but I guess I never saw I know I wasn't part of the performance review or any of that piece because there was a new number.
Okay. By 4 days. Okay. Sure. Sure. I think, Joe, you can speak to the length of time spent working on that. It's been it's been a spring of negotiating, I would say. I was given some brief updates of the status, and there was still work. And again, I saw the contract just as you did. So,
I think it's safe to say that, Joe, we were even working on it through last week.
What's that?
We were working on it through last week. I don't know which way to talk
Yeah.
right now.
Well, and I will address that, those concerns. No matter what entity it is, you will receive the recommendation to vote on that coming up to a school board meeting. You won't know what's gone on prior to that. This particular contract has been being worked on by Mr. Shelton and Mr. Bryant since last summer. Sorry, and Mr. Engelking. Since last summer, and then after we changed committees January, I joined Mr. Shelton, and then Amy is one of our alternates. So we worked through this contract hit and miss since then. As life gets busy, we are not meeting every week or every other week, but it's been being worked on literally since last summer. So it's been going for a long time. And honestly, every contract we have, they're all coming due. The work on them takes place prior to when they come due and prior to when you have a settlement. The unions are working on their part of the contract. In fact, 66 was meeting today. I told John they were meeting right here. All of the entities are working ahead of time to get these contracts done. So a lot of work goes into it, and there is a lot of time.
Right. So just to review, we have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation. Kim has a motion that has failed for lack of support. Where would you like to go with that?
I would like to offer up another recommendation for a table.
All right, there's a motion by Kim to table this recommendation to approve this individual contract until the June 28th board meeting. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I'm gonna step in here.
Yep.
We've had this motion,
I agree.
and it has failed for lack of a second. We can go through this all night,
We can.
putting motions forward to table it. It's failed.
Thank you.
We should be moving on with the next motion then.
Appreciate your support, Joe.
I thank my fellow board members for hearing me out. I just think that this is one of the most important decisions that we review as a board. I think it was prudent for me to ask questions, even though I was not able to seek the answers at this time. It will be a learning experience. And I appreciate your commentary, Joe, and your insight on all of that. Again, it is absolutely not a reflection of any performance at all. It is just my desire to gain more information about about the contract
No.
and understand. So
And-
that's all.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I think Mr. Engelking will agree with me on this. I don't believe that he is taking offense at all, because this is not a performance discussion. This is we've already done the performance review. Now we had to put a contract in place because we've had a review and have decided we're moving on with this. So this is, your questioning is not any reflection on Mr. Engelking's performance, because this isn't a performance. This is the contract that was in place. These are the changes that were made per our negotiating, and that's what we're voting on, are those changes to his agreement. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Perspective. Okay, with a motion and a second, we will go with a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Abstain.
And one abstention from Parmeter. Okay, we'll move on then to items for discussion and information. Item number 12, we'll start with the superintendent update from John. Thank you.
All right, well, I have just a couple of comments. I want to thank the board for graduation and being there. I just wanted to get down to community involvement right at the get-go. We have our former board liaison here. Just what a great job at graduation, your entire class. Just really made everybody proud to be part of Proctor Public Schools, and you sang just like Joe. You know, I mean, it was, your performance was outstanding, so congratulations.
Is that a compliment?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You missed, Joe usually sings on the bus, and he didn't this year, I heard.
that is true.
So I just want to acknowledge the board in our graduating class of 2021. Currently, we're reviewing starting times. You remember last year, we moved to a two-tier bus system. Two-tier means we go out and pick up elementary kids, drop them off, and then we go back and get secondary kids and drop them off, or the other way around. For years, maybe, I don't know, maybe 14 years, 13 years, we were on a two-tier system, and we moved to a single-tier system where all the kids got on the same bus. Elementary kids, we had a common start time pretty much, except for Pike Lake, and we had to abandon that last year because of COVID-19 and social distancing on our buses. We just couldn't bring all the kids in. So we went back to picking up kids in a two-tier fashion. It made it possible to social distance because 30% of our kids stayed home, and we were able to safely transport our kids. We're through with this year, and we're looking forward to next year. The only way we can really move forward with the uncertainty that we really have with next year is to continue with the two-tier system. We certainly would like to acknowledge the fact that the best way to bring kids to school is to allow our earliest learners to start early and our secondary to start at a later time. I made that recommendation last year, and the board decided to not move forward with that plan and bring in our early learners second and our secondary kids first. The reason for that really centered on activities and how much school kids would miss if they had to get on a bus and go to an event. I think we need to reestablish that conversation to make sure we're doing the right thing. We did lose some learning time at our secondary, about 15 minutes a day. We do have a new transportation director, and I want to work closely with Tanya and see if she can make this two-tier system work more efficiently than it did last year. We just really need to thoughtfully think about the best way to bring our kids in. Duluth does their early learners second and brings their secondary in later. Hermantown does what we do. You know, they bring secondary in a little bit or earlier. I'm sorry. Later. I'm sorry. No, secondary comes in earlier. And so what we really need to do, and I just want to bring this forth, is for our board members to begin thinking about what's best for kids and how we transport students next year. And so I'll bring this conversation back to the board for discussion at our next meeting. I know, it's a deep topic, you know. I just want to acknowledge Jake Disterhoff, who runs our fitness center. You know, he's been running the speed and agility clinic for our student athletes for a few years now. I think the results are really showing. You know, we won a state championship. We've won section championships. The time has come where you can't just show up for sports and expect to be, you know, a successful athletic team. So, and I really want to compliment our kids. I was out there today again watching some speed and agility things, and to get up early in the morning and to get out there and do that, and he runs 3 of them every day. So, I think it's a great program. Summer school is underway. I was at summer school today at Bayview and at the middle school. Middle school kids were not so happy. Elementary kids were very happy. And so I think, Diane, congratulations, Diana. You had a great program going on, about 115 kids in that program. And it was exciting to see. Parents were happy dropping the kids off, and kids were happy showing up. So it was really pretty good. I did attend the bus end of the year picnic and presented retirement clocks to our 4 retiring bus drivers and to Kurt Benassi. I meant to send you a picture. I'll send you a picture. I got a little text it to me. For management and leadership, I just want to talk a little bit about this safe return to in-person learning plan. Remember the plan that we had in place that we worked so hard on? That's sunsetted, the last day of school. So we're bringing back kids, and basically the basic premise, if you were just going to synthesize what the difference is that instead of requirements for required mask, required this, everything is turned to recommendations. So we're recommending and highly encouraging anybody who has not been vaccinated to wear a mask. And I will just tell you that I think everybody here is vaccinated, and that's why we're not wearing masks today. And we're welcoming our community here and highly encouraging everybody who has not been vaccinated to please wear a mask if you're going to attend our board meetings. It looked like everybody's wearing masks in elementary school. Yeah. Our administration is looking at our handbooks, our student handbooks. We want to bring our student handbooks in August so that it's not a last-minute thing. And we're trying to pull together the Minnesota School Boards Association Model Handbook as part of the modeling of all of those handbooks. We're also working on an employee's handbook, and Mark and Gina and I are taking care of that, and that'll be done. I don't know, I asked Gina to make sure that we get on track and have it for our second board meeting in June. As far as enrollment goes, we're seeing some pretty strong enrollment. I'm projecting an enrollment of about 1885, and that's my projection. We're at about 1867 right now, as of today, and I think that'll grow. Our kindergarten enrollment is pretty high. At Bayview, it's 101, and at Pike Lake we're at 58. We only have 2 sections. That means there's 29 kids in each section, and we're going to have to do some changes there. So we'll keep an eye on what those enrollments look like, and try to make a decision on when to expand that kindergarten section to 3 at Pike Lake. And Steve and I have been working quite a few times on COVID money and what those budgets look like. It's really complicated. There's about 4 different funds, and we plan on having a meeting of our finance committee to explain exactly what these COVID funds look like. And we want to make sure we get through some clarifications, and also we want the special session to end, so we have some better idea about funding. Facilities and transportation. I think we're going to have a new telephone system on the 25th. We've got to figure out who's going to plug things in, and I volunteered Lori to be the voice of the Proctor Public Schools. She's our the voice of the district, so when we send out closings, unless she's gone, it's me. But yeah, I really like that consistency. So we should have a phone system in place. Our outdoor classrooms at both of our elementary schools, and by the way, those were built with COVID funds. Bayview's is pretty much done. I think John stained it the other day, and Pike Lakes is rather palatial. There's going to be a fireplace inside it. It's big. Isaac Sherburne is working on that with some of our staff, and if you get a chance to go out there, go take a look. It's something else. It's nestled right inside the apple orchard that we planted quite a few years ago. Those apple trees are pretty big, and I hope we don't destroy any of them, but that's where it is. Spent some time with the OSHA review at our bus garage, and we're working on a couple of OSHA grants to replace some jacks, and Steve's part of that. And then last but not least, we're well, two things. We're still supporting Proctor Lions with their hog head. We supplied the button-making stuff, and we do the printing for hog head for Proctor Lions, and wish them the best on that. And then you might have seen in the Proctor Journal, it's really going to be exciting to repair that doggone Second Street coming up to Proctor Public Schools. And my vision is that we kind of put some college-themed banners coming up the street with a new sidewalk that says, entering Rails Country, or something like that. Something really, really cool and welcoming, because now it's a frightening drive if you're driving up Second Street, because it's pretty rough. So those are some of the highlights that are taking place on this last week of students. And I know I didn't hit everything, but.
Thanks, John. Does anyone have any questions on items on the superintendent that John did not attend to in his update verbally?
The only thing is that you just got just the elementary, the young kids wearing masks. The older kids don't have to, right? Middle school and up,
Everybody is encouraged to wear masks.
encouraged, but they don't have to. But the elementary, they still have to
They don't
during
have
the
to.
day. They don't have to too? Okay, I was just wondering.
They're strongly encouraged and recommended. Most kids are.
Okay, okay.
So, Madam Chair, if I could ask a couple questions.
Absolutely.
We're changing how we were coming into this year. We put a lot of money into COVID protocols. Are we going to utilize that stuff, for what's it looking like for somebody that's not getting the vaccination? Are we going to have availability to section themselves off or anything like that?
Well, we certainly have a lot of PPE and plexiglass, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm really encouraged by the state of Minnesota. We're at 67% of our population. If we can get to 70 plus 75%, the state of Minnesota is going to be in really good shape. And then the whole understanding of how important it is to be vigilant about this disease is what we need to keep, promoting. But I have to think, and I'm talking about this a little bit later, but the infection rates are really down in St. Louis County. Last I talked to Aubrey, there were like 9 cases,
Wow.
in St. Louis County. And so that's really encouraging, and it's encouraging to understand and know that that vaccines are working. They just are. But we'll have masks for years. We had so many donated, and we had to buy some, and then there was the fear of, if you don't buy them now, you're never going to get them, and there was a lot of marketing and profiteering on this, a lot. It just as in your own personal lives, I bet you have a lot of hand sanitizer at home. I have enough Lysol spray because we stopped using it. But every time it was on the shelf, we buy it, So, we could supply Proctor Public Schools for a couple of years. Lysol spray.
118 cases today in Minnesota and 3 in St. Louis County.
3 in St. Louis County today, I think, last week, yeah.
Okay, and then one other question, with our enrollment, off the top of your head, do you know how many that we have turned away?
2?
Just 2? Okay. Good.
I think there's one class has a waiting list,
Oh, wow.
and there's 2 kids on the waiting list. It's kind of early. It's kind of early to have this strong of a enrollment,
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll wait and see. Diane always says that, the programs we create and the presence that we have in the greater Duluth area makes her school a destination school, and it is, because of the work that Diane and her teachers and staff do. So we'll wait and see.
All right, any more questions regarding the superintendent update? We'll move on to infection rates, vaccines, and summer school protocols. Is there anything that you'd like to add, John?
No, I think I just kind of hit those basics to the conversation.
Sure. Since this is a specific item on the agenda, is there anyone that has any questions related to these items that hasn't been addressed? Questions that you have for John or otherwise? Okay.
John, you had said at our last meeting that you're really looking forward to being in person next year. Are you still feeling that way right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I just get, even summer school is a different vibe. We're so on edge, we're aware, and we need to be. We still need to be vigilant about things. But I fully expect to be 100% in person.
I think that's reassuring to hear our district leaders say that, and so I appreciate you taking the time to say that.
I know in conversations before, John, we've said that early on too, just to make sure that this isn't the first time we've been hearing this. John has said that for quite a while, that he is expecting we'll be fully in person. So just to make sure that that is clear. Moving on to public relations update, I'll just feature some of the items relating to the district from the Proctor Journal. June 3rd edition acknowledges our Rails graduates. Mention of the vandalism at Bayview's playground and garden. Let's see here, June 10th edition, Casalt Middle School Principal of the Year and the valedictory addresses and high school graduation highlights. In the Duluth News Tribune, May 26th edition featured our Pathways for Students program, and KBGR and Fox News, both on June 2nd, news blips about the vandalism at our Bayview Elementary School. And let's see here, item number 13, reports, looking for school board committee reports. Has anyone met out in our official subcommittees? Athletics?
Activities has met. We'll have that for the next meeting.
Sure, thank you. And policy is up to date. Curriculum took a break. Nice, good time to pause for summer. If there are no other reports to discuss, Mark, you're up. Mark Hagermeyer will be presenting the 2020 through 2021 Staff Development AT-PPS Summary Report.
I'd like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity. So I have on the screen here the PowerPoint, so if you can't see that, maybe you want to move a little bit. Those of you that are in the sun, that might be a little difficult for you. Again, my name is Mark Hagermeyer. I've been in the district for a while now, about 4 years in this position, staff development and AT-PPS coordinator. First of all, I'd like to thank you for a great school year. It was a hard school year. And we had some challenges. There were a lot of challenges that we were able to overcome, in my opinion. Our students were great. Our teachers worked so hard at trying to capture the students, even though they were at home many times, and in their bedrooms or in their pajamas, and trying to teach them a lot of different things. So most of our work that we did this year was related to that, was related to how we can get students to be engaged in our classrooms. And so we We started early. We started a couple days early. As you recall, we had a couple staff development days before school started. We changed the calendar a little bit to be able to accommodate that, and our teachers really rose to the occasion. So I can't thank you enough, all those that are on the screen there, but also the teachers have just been fantastic, tenacious, and just stick to it. And I hope that you as students felt that. And I had a great card from you two, thanking us for all of our hard work. So thank you for that. So why is staff development important? So it's really important because we need to make sure that we continue to be collaborative. We need to be able to work together. And so these are some of the points that we have that are really important about our job and staff development and ATPPS. But reduction in staff isolation, teacher staff isolation. That's really important. Learn about good teaching and content knowledge, school improvement, greater job satisfaction, higher morale, greater retention of teachers and staff, enthusiasm for the job, and better community involvement. And so one of the things that, in my opinion, and it's the opinion of a lot of our teachers, is that the staff time that we have, the time that we have in our meetings is crucial to staff development. So this is related to ATPPS. So staff development is the umbrella over our ATPPS plan, and so ATPPS comes underneath that. So advisory council, there's 9 teacher leaders on the advisory council, 1 coordinator, that's myself. Team leaders, we had 22 this year. Mentors, 17 mentors. We have a newer staff, so there's a lot more mentors that are needed throughout the district, and that is just continuing. We're going to be adding staff on a regular basis now for quite a few years, I'm afraid. Well, that's great. That's great too. I'm not afraid of that, but that's not what I meant. But I think it'll be an ongoing thing for us. So the total teachers involved is 139, and there are 49 in leadership. So the pillars of ATPPS are as follows. So the four pillars of ATPPS, and this is through state statute, is career advancement, and we just talked about that a little bit. Job embedded staff development. Sorry, gotta move that up. And so participation in team is our staff development every week. Data review, teaching strategies, learning about different strategies, student learning goals, student achievement. Those are part of that. Teacher evaluation. So we have evaluation of teachers, and then also the performance pay part of that, which is a negotiated item, and it gets put onto the contract. Let's see if I can get that. So what was accomplished? So through our learning teams, we had weekly team meetings, did a lot of data review, learned about strategies and collaboration, again, job embedded staff professional development, and a lot of this was related to distance learning and the thing that I talked about, engagement with the students. Student learning goals, most of our student learning goals were achieved this year. Classroom benchmarking and data collection is a part of that. And then observations, principal observations, evaluations, and then team leader peer review observations. And then, so our site goals, so let's talk a little bit about the site goals. So our ATPPS site goals this year were related to, if you recall back last year in 2020, in the spring of 2020, we had, because school was shut down, we didn't do our MCA testing. So we use the testing data from the year before that. And so, so a lot of the goals were the same as the prior year of 1920. So that's 2 years ago. All right, so training for staff. Again, distance learning strategies, engagement strategies, mental health and mindfulness, mental health first aid with Amy Pockernich, and that was with the paraprofessionals. So that I felt that went very well. Continued collaborative classroom, ELA, and Bridges math curriculum training. Beginning science state standards and curriculum review. So the science standards are coming out new. So all of the core classes are fairly new now. We had the ELA ones and math, and science is coming on board now, and then social studies will be coming a year later. Outdoor environmental education at Pike Lake and Bayview. Behavior intervention and modification. So we just, at the end of the year in May, we had Dr. Duffy. She was a person that was helping us at the high school, and she put on a in-service for us. And so that went very well. Behavior intervention and modification, reading and mathematics, comprehension training, team leadership, accommodations, coaching clinics, and the list goes on and on and on. Most of our staff development this year for individuals was online. So people were able to go to a lot of different things, but virtually. So that has been kind of a plus for us. It costs a lot less as far as the budget is concerned. It costs a lot less because we're staying at home and following it on a computer screen. So we were able to use those leftover funds to be able to bring teachers in, and teachers have been working last week and this week and next week talking about the year that has just passed and what can we bring forward to the next year. And so what we've learned a lot this year about what's really important to us in our classrooms for our students. And so we really want to bring that forward to next year. So what's next? So just this spring, we as a teacher unit put together a new ATPPS plan for 21 to 23. And so that is, right now the teachers voted to approve that. And so that's moving forward now. So as far as the state funding is happening right now in our state legislature, I believe they're meeting today and tomorrow and the next day. As far as the budget concerns and things like that moving forward, we're assuming that we're pretty status quo. So we do have a new plan coming forward for the next 2 years that follows our contract, teacher contract. Adjusting and reacting to changing curriculum and educational needs related to the pandemic. So I just spoke to you about that a little bit. We want to bring the teachers in to see what has worked well for us, and also what to move forward, and to keep those things that have worked well. And then continue a focus. Adjusting to reacting to changing curriculum needs with the new standards that I just spoke of, and continuing the focus on pathways at the secondary school. So one of the things that it just at the very bottom of the screen, Plan, Do, Study, Act. Plan, Do, Study, Act is a model of continuous improvement that the state of Minnesota uses and is as part of the ATPPS plan in QComp. That is part of the plan that the state of Minnesota uses to bring forward for continuous improvement. All right, so at the end of the year here, our staff development committee met, and we have been studying a few things. What are really important for us as a district, as a community, statewide community? You've seen a lot of things happening in the past year related to cultural differences. And so that was one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we were addressing and making sure that we were working on. So cultural competency, and we're trying to bring Jody Farr in again She came and spoke to us a couple of years ago. Mental health and suicide prevention, the work that Amy Pokernich worked with the paras, we'd like to also have that with our teachers, and so we would like to include some of that. And then the third one is the art of teaching. The art of teaching covers a lot of different things, and so we really want to make sure that we are working on those things for our teaching staff. Curricular advancements, new science standards, CEU requirements, and best practices. So some of the goals from the last time that I spoke to you: common learning time, team time, 1 hour weekly, continue to heighten focus on mentoring, onboarding for new staff, lots of communication, continue to build trust among the staff, continued cultural competence training, and balance the budget. Well, some of those things were kind of pushed off to next year because of our pandemic. And so we couldn't do all of the things that we were working on, but we did do several of these things. So again, mentoring is really important, and we really want to make sure that we are continuing that. And we've got some new things happening with onboarding with Mr. Engelking. We've been working on that. He alluded to that in his message earlier. So I have some survey results there, and we don't really need to go all through those, but I did include those in your packet, so if you'd like to look at those. We use those survey results as a way to be able to adjust the plan and to see what our teachers really want, and so that was something that we worked on. But so this is what we came up with. Commitment to having a dedicated weekly collaborative meeting time. This is very, very important. And so our team time that we have right now is different in each of the sites. Each site has a different way that they do team time, and we want to make that a little bit more equitable across the district. Everybody kind of has the same thing. So one of the things that we really want to look at, and this has to do with our planning at the board level, is to have a dedicated weekly time that we have for our team meetings, rather than doing them before or after school, and make it a little bit more, have some quality time there. Make adjustments to the sub-teacher shortage. So a lot of the things that we do are related to the availability of substitutes. When we have meetings, when we get together with teachers, other teachers, and work on things, we need to have substitute teachers. Well, right now, that's very difficult for us. And so how do we adjust to that? And so that's something that we're really going to be working on. Building on advancements made during the pandemic, laser focus on student success. You know, we are in the business of kids. And so that's what it's all about. We really want our kids to be successful, and it just advances our community. Increased commitment to faculty and staff job satisfaction and retention. We really want to be able to hang on to the people that we have. We work with them and work with them and work with them, and then they move off to somewhere else. Well, we don't want that. We want them to stay here, and so we really want to focus on the mentorship and onboarding. So staff development plan that is in your packets. We've actually worked on that. I actually updated a little bit more today. I was working with Lynn. So there's a plan there. So that will be something that we'll be bringing forward to the board in the fall for your approval. Right now, there are a lot of things that are in flux that we don't know for sure yet. And so a lot of those things will be happening in the fall. So we'll be looking for me to come and ask you for your approval of the plan, which includes the ATPPS plan and the teacher mentoring plan. And so we're also working on the district handbook and website augmentation. Now, the handbook is really important as for teachers to say, you know, if they have a question about things, to be able to find one-stop shop to find everything that they need. And so that's something that we've been working on with Gina and John. And again, the approval of the 1% give back, and you saw that in your agenda here today. is that it? Okay, so are there any questions that I can answer for you?
I just wanted to comment on the mentoring plan. I looked through it,
Yes.
and it's much more focused than it used to be. I mean, there are definite topics each month, and I think it's helpful to have more of a direction. I mean, I was a mentor many times, but it's nice to have some
Right,
things that are
and
directed.
we're trying to get that even more refined. We're finding that that we need to have a lot of support, a little bit more support than we've had in the past, and so the structure is really important. And so I think we really want to continue that and work with that, so our new people coming in have as much support as they need. Any other questions?
Are you making any different adjustments now for substitute teachers to get in, more adjustments? I mean, are you changing the policy,
Well,
the money, this
we're-
incentives and everything else? Is that, I mean,
Yeah,
like everybody else got to
So
be
one of
doing
the
the same
adjustments
thing?
that we've made just recently is that we are doing our meetings after school, rather than, what would we do, if you remember the advisory council. The advisory council and the staff development committee used to meet during the day. So that meant that some of our best teachers had to have a sub and come out of the classroom. Well, now it's even worse because we don't have enough subs to be able to cover all these classrooms. And so we are trying to adjust to that and have our meetings after school. It presents a lot of other challenges, of course, with availability of people who are coaching or availability of just, taking their kids home from school, that's really important too. And so that's some of the adjustments that we're trying to make. Anybody else?
Yeah, Mark, I've got a question. The handbook that you're working on for teachers, is the union involved in developing this handbook or have input into it?
Well, we're kind of at the early stages of it right now.
Okay.
So there are some things that, it is really, what it is a spot on our website that we're really going to try to focus in on some of the questions that people might have with a new person who's coming into the district, or somebody that just doesn't know the answer. It would be great if they'd come and ask questions to the rest of us, but sometimes, just one-stop shop to find some of these specific things.
And
So the
that's,
answer to right in that at this point.
Yep.
But I am a union member, so
I know that.
I've been working on
Yeah.
it with John, so yes and no, but,
to me, it just makes a new employee feel a whole lot more welcome, and this becomes home when they have that one-stop shop and can see, what's my dental agreement say, what's this say, what's that say. It just makes it more home. So that's why I asked.
yeah, one of the things that I'm a little concerned about is another layer in our webpage.
Yeah.
Right now, sometimes it takes a few clicks to get where you want to go. So that would be my only fear, is that it's going to add another layer to that. You got to go here to go there. But
Yeah.
we're working on that.
Then I want to make one comment and give you a kudos and give our staff a kudos for the year that we just went through and seeing the changes that we needed to make. And I'll tell you what, our new teachers coming into what we had this year, your mentorship did really well because we rocked it, and I'm glad you guys recognize that along with the administrators, and man, it was good.
And thank goodness we had the structure that we had with QComp, ATPPS and QComp.
Yes.
I have family members in other districts, and they were spinning. And while we were kind of knew what we were doing because we were able to talk with each other. We had that common time to meet with each other, and so that was crucial, really, to our success, I think.
Awesome.
Again, a couple things coming in the fall, so be looking for that. So approval of the staff development plan, and so, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. In other reports, there's an enrollment report for June 2021, the end of the school year, in your packet. It's item number 13C. Any questions at all regarding that? Just the end of the year summary where we ended up? 1802, I think I wrote down, was our district enrollment. All right, any questions? No? Okay. We'll move on to communications at item number 14, school board comments and observations. We'll start with any school board celebrations. Anyone got anything to share?
We're in person.
Yeah. Did you like how I said welcome back when we came back?
We're in person. Yeah.
I know, yeah, it is,
Yeah.
it's nice. And then finally see the rest of everybody.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah.
We have new student and
Yes.
school board liaisons, which is
Oh, I know,
amazing.
yeah, I know. That's gonna be great to have a couple of women. I was saying that earlier, yeah. It's great.
So,
Not that he wasn't very bad himself, but.
so, this is the, I just wanted to share with our new liaison members, this is the time that the board has to just share things that are going on in the district. It's kind of their time, just like an open forum for us to have conversations about things that maybe aren't on the agenda, or follow up on anything, any further thoughts. We ask the same of our student liaison board members under the item that says comments, and I won't put you on the spot at all today, but some ideas and suggestions, we can maybe give them some ideas. Sometimes our liaison members have brought student body concerns that would be relevant to at the board level, like thoughts about, like we'd always ask Josh, how is distance learning going? Anything that we can do that's more supportive of that. And, of course, we want you to talk to your principal. That's his, platform. But it's good for us to know how things are going. And so it's like a little pulse on the district on our behalf. So we appreciate that. Perspective from any of our discussions. We could have a real interesting discussion about something, like we'll be talking about two-tier busing in a couple weeks maybe. And so your thoughts on that, those of you who have ridden the bus, thoughts about coming to school at the early time that you are versus the late time, those will be I would really like to know, what do you think about that? How is that going to impact your world and your siblings who might be in younger grades? Any other ideas for these ladies?
It's a lot to take in. We'll walk you through it, and you're going to do just fine.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to do good.
Even things that are going on that you think, the board might want to come and be a part of it and participate, invite us.
Right, I think about some of the student council projects, or it might be NHS when you've gone shopping for gifts for the kids at Christmas time. So just let us know things like that. The really cool stuff that we might want to make an impact and help with. Feel free to just tell us what's going on, things like that. Homecoming stuff, updates about other events. Because we're not there every day like you are. And I think our kids, my kid filters some things, so.
Yeah, I know, this week we have some runners at.
You need a microphone.
Oh.
Slide the mic over.
I know this week we have some student athletes who made it to state in sections, and they're running on Thursday and Friday, so we can congratulate them and wish them well.
Is the send-off here at noon on Wednesday, I heard?
Yes.
Okay. Great. And I know boys volleyball, their club team also made it to state, and their game is Thursday. I had asked Andy, and she didn't have a send-off planned. Nothing had been planned for them. So if you have any of your friends that are part of the boys volleyball team, certainly send them well wishes.
I just wanted to point out that after the last board meeting, I noticed that you all were talking about making all of our teachers and staffs. So I immediately texted Sophie and we needed to do something for the teachers on behalf of the student body. So we took our own time and wrote out thank you notes to all of the teachers and staff and passed them out on the last week of school. And just to get our names out there to let teachers know that students can come to us if they need anything. Because a lot of students don't know about us, and
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe they should put their names up some place in the school by the principal's office or something, so people would know, the students would know that they can meet them or something. You know, or talk to them or say something, you know, that they wouldn't want to say to the principal, you know?
That's a really great suggestion, Jim.
Mr. Nathan Johnson, if you're listening, Historian Ballet next fall would be a good idea to get the word out there.
Not a
And
bad
if you're
idea
not-
either.
If you're not listening, I'll let you know the next time I see you.
Not a bad idea either.
There you go.
She's
Oh,
already
the phone's
texting
out.
us.
That is so amazing that you guys did that. What a really touching
Yeah.
thing. So thank you for that.
Very much appreciated.
We didn't get a chance to invite them to the elementary or schools, and some of the middle school staff were part of the high school, so we only got to do it for the high school, but we enjoyed it.
Great.
Very
Excellent.
thoughtful.
Any other celebrations? Getting back to that before we move on to just other discussions.
I would like to talk about the volunteers who showed up with the playground. It was incredible. The people who came and cleaned and worked and, I mean, it was really a community involvement thing, and it was just so cool. People care so much about our facilities, and it was great. So I thank those people. And also just, I don't know about the rest of you, but graduation, it was, it was tingly. I mean, you could just feel it, that people were together and they were happy. And, I mean, I'm looking up at the lights most of the time, so I don't cry all over my face like I usually do. But it was just, what a great thing for the end of the year. I just can't say enough about graduation. It was just wonderful. And the talent, oh my gosh, the talent that we have in our school.
Yeah, and you and Joe look good in the paper there too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, Ted said, looks like Joe's lost some weight.
My feet got smaller.
Well, it was certainly a fun night. I know Tim and the graduates had been told to wear masks, but the building itself didn't have to, and so that was the thing. And so it was interesting just sharing. I looked down when Pop and Circumstance. So we waited until all the graduates came down, and when Pop and Circumstance came on, I looked up and I'm like, Tim, your graduates aren't wearing masks. He's like, huh, okay. And we just kind of went and did what the graduates did. They kind of chose their night, and I said, well, give me some hand sanitizer then, because if they're maskless, I'm shaking hands. So, because that was another thing. It was, Joe had said, graduates don't want to, fine, but like, I got clean hands, we're good now. I felt better about that, and seems like the kids liked that, I think, from what I heard on the boat afterwards. All-night grad party was fabulous. It was moved to Skyline for logistical purposes because of not having any full knowledge of what June would look like for their graduates, and not being able to turn the school over and clean appropriately in order to have it on site. So it was at Skyline this year. They couldn't have asked for a more perfect night. Joe and Jim were with me on the Vista along with Jenny Harnell, and the weather was beautiful. I don't know if I've ever had a more beautiful night. I mean, it was hot. I mean, not one jacket was on.
Yeah.
And the kids really enjoyed themselves. We had a little extra time out on the lake. Kids were very quiet on the way up to Skyline, I think all in anticipation of the night. And was it a fun night, Josh? Good. Did you make it to the end? Good. So, so more to come with what we'll do in the future. I know other graduating classes have already committed. I can't say what the class of 2022 is going to do, but apparently I'm in charge. So, Chris Hogan on Friday morning dumped 3 boxes at my house, and I'm told the checkbook's coming my way. So we'll be working on fundraising for you guys soon to be able to give you guys a really great event. So we just don't know what yet, and we won't tell you. Let's see here. Other things on my little list. Things that I will be looking for just from the board as we discuss 2-tier busing. I thought I should touch on that, and I'm sure it's coming, but just to put a bug in someone's ear. we should talk about the financial impact of two-tier busing versus one-tier, and just a little bit about the students and coaches' early release impacts. And as we talk about that, Duluth only has a 6-hour day. And so they get out early, so I don't know how much their late start impacts their early release. So I don't know if we have apples and apples, or if we have apples and crab apples, I don't know. Something like it, but not quite. So I'm just interested a little bit more about that as we discuss. Just good things to think about as, as we talk about that. I know when we went out of two-tier busing, it had to do with buses, number of buses that we had in our fleet, and such. So there's lots more history on that. So the history will be good, and I know you have it. Graduation, I just want to say we missed Amy and Kim. I just want to make sure we acknowledge that. I know family first, that's always our motto.
Yeah, we had
Always.
a family emergency, so
Yep.
I missed. I was really, really disappointed, but, it got to take care of your kids when they're falling apart, so.
Yeah, right.
Physically breaking,
Did it go good?
So,
We missed you guys.
yeah.
We really did.
and I would have even known to dress up this time.
I know. Did you hear me
Next
at the
year,
other
we're
meeting?
gonna
I said, by the way,
line you up.
Amy.
I know.
I said, she didn't know you
Right?
dressed up. Thank goodness she had a baby shower.
Right, but yeah, no, we were hoping, it's sitting in the urgent care, and I'm like, I'm gonna miss it. He's like, well, you can just go. I'm like, I can't just leave you here.
Sure. Take a cab.
Somebody will drive you home, get some more crutches, whatever.
The boy was missed at hockey later that night.
Yeah,
Confirmation followed by hockey.
yeah.
This wasn't the same.
You know what? Life throws you curveballs. You just gotta go with it.
Right. Any other school board comments? Joe?
Yeah, I was waiting for you guys to do your reports to see what you had to say about graduation. I'll let Josh know, we waited for 2 years to hear you sing at one of our meetings, and it happened to be a graduation meeting, and we are so proud of you. You did so well, and just so all the performers know, Lynn cried, just saying.
Shock.
No, it was very good. You guys did great. And wow, it was exciting to have a graduation. We only missed one, but wow, did that really devastate us. So I was extremely happy that we were able to have a graduation, and the kids were very appreciative to have a graduation, and yeah, it all went very well. So that was nice.
It's such a day of celebration. It really is. It's the best day of the year. And I don't say that because it's not my day at all. It's
I
just
was
the best
excited
day
for them.
of the year because we celebrate such accomplishments. We celebrate the accomplishments of those who are leading with valedictory addresses and salutatory addresses, and the choir and the band, and we celebrate those kids that you look and you're like, oh my gosh, you're here. And you are here, and I could cry every single one of them as I looked at them as they walked by, because there has been a struggle. And it is just, we are so grateful for those moments too.
I'd also like to comment, and every year we start graduation with something to choke me up. Honoring our military and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you for that. We mention it every year, and how the comments afterwards are so positive about that, and it's just a great idea, and I thank you guys for doing that. And I again thank our military people and our students. I love that part of it. Our students that are going into the military to stand up and be recognized. It's a great idea.
Just one more thing and then I'll shut up. I just wanted to mention the Trust Edge. Some of us have been here since 5:30, and our Trust Edge discussions, they've been really rich, and I appreciate the people who have come and taken their time. And anybody who hasn't come on. We're going to take July off, but we'll be back in August. We'll select a date. And student liaisons, if you would like to come, you're more than welcome. We can get you copies of books.
It's a fun read.
It is a fun read.
He's really energetic in person.
And we can send you the notes of things that have already occurred, so if you would like to come, we would be more than happy to have you join us.
We'll see if we can get that on the list of honor grad reads.
Oh, come on.
I'm
I was
sure.
gonna say, can't someone
No.
quiz you?
It's not, some
Oh,
of the
here,
ones that
it
are.
says the English teacher here.
That's what I'm saying.
It's fine literature, it's fine.
It's fine.
No, it's not.
Can some of those books be in now?
Probably. Most of the ones
Little
I
Prince,
taught
shortest one ever.
are, I'm old. Okay. I'm done.
Amy, anything? Just wanna make sure I go around.
No, you know,
Everyone
mine
opportunity.
isn't about graduation because I didn't get to go. But one thing, I don't know if everybody here on the board has been able to participate. I know we'll have to do this next year, but the mock interviews with Sarah Clevey, that is such a good experience for the kids. I was able to do that this year. You know, if you guys remember your first job interview, just imagine having a little bit of experience with somebody doing that with you. I just thought it was a wonderful experience for myself as well as for the students.
All right, Jim, anything that, I just wanna make sure I give you opportunity?
Oh, I don't know. I just enjoyed graduation. I mean, I was really impressed how polite and nice the kids were myself. I mean, I thought they would be a little more rowdier or maybe not be as polite and everything, but they were decent to me. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know half of them, you know. But it was
Nice
nice
bunch of
because
kids.
be able to give the thing to my nephew, that was nice. I liked that. I was happy. So that was good.
Kim?
I just wanted to say, I had the chance to attend the bus drivers picnic. That was really sweet and fun. These bus drivers are some of my favorite people in my school district growing up, so it was a sweet celebration. Additionally, I really wanted to thank the junior high and high school teams for the transition, for the promotion event from 8th grade to freshman. My child couldn't attend because there was a COVID outbreak that he had been near it, so he was unable to attend that. But everyone worked so well to try to, to broadcast that online, and we were able to be part of that. And I have a videotape of him walking across the living room floor with he didn't have a grad hat, so he wore his a funny hat that he had around the house. And it was just a fun moment, even though we couldn't be there in person to cheer him on. I thought everything was done very well online, so I appreciate the efforts of all of the staff that took care of us. It was very nice. Thank you.
I want to add for the 5th grade promotion, I thought it was really nice. They did a video and I was able to share that with my family that wouldn't have been able to attend anyway. And they got my son to smile, like his big smile with his dimples. I don't know who took the picture and got him to do that, but I was happy.
You know, that reminds me, before we adjourn, Madam Chair, we have Mr. Ted here, and he told me at graduation, and I don't remember where, somebody from somewhere was watching our broadcast from far away. Do you remember where that was?
Graduations broadcast?
Yes. He had you on mute.
You guys, so I can't hear a word you're saying 8 seconds later.
Where was the farthest away graduation was observed from on Rails TV? Like watched, like location-wise?
You told me
Like out of
graduation
town?
late that somebody had mentioned that they were gonna watch from,
The debt called and asked, and there was a grandma in Washington
yeah,
that was asking for the link the day of the graduation.
yeah,
Cool.
So,
way cool.
sorry, everybody.
That's okay.
No, that's good.
Ted? Ted?
No,
I just wanted to recognize that, once again, thanks to what you do for us, we are able to allow people from sometimes all over the world watch what we got going on in our little Proctor town here, Proctor School District. So that's awesome. Thank you.
the look on your face, Ted, made the whole night worthwhile.
Right then?
Like this. When he asked you the question and you're like this.
Oh, shoot. Anything else, guys?
That was good.
Look. Anything else tonight? Any township or city communications? Super exciting about the street. That is really great information, Second Street. Amen. Okay.
Jen, I do think there is one community thing I'd like to talk about, just
Yes.
very briefly. I don't think we did it at the last board meeting, but we lost Brian Johnson, who was a former teacher of Proctor Public Schools, but was also a great community supporter who made probably a couple dozen podiums, one of which is sitting next to me. And the one thing Brian always told me when he brought a new podium, he says, "Remember, Steve, these come with a lifetime guarantee." So it really makes me think our guarantee's gone. And just a true community supporter, and just loved what he did. And every podium had a story, and I just want to point that out to the board for those of you that don't know that.
That is a really sweet story, Steve. I hadn't heard that. I know he's made, blessed us with many podiums and but that's really neat. Thank you.
Most of the podiums he made are in the school district someplace.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a few
Yep.
other ones here and one there, but they were Proctor Public Schools.
And they were
Very nice.
designed for each individual. He got to know the individual and made the podium.
This one, I remember you wanted the base of this one is similar to the outside of the building.
Yes.
I mean, he tried to stay theme, and most often he used recycled wood there's a story about the wood that goes into each one.
Yeah.
And he would come back and fix them, and he'd walk in and say, "Hey, Steve, are they all okay?" And it's kind of, I don't know, but let's go take a stroll.
And he even did them by height. He came in when he made mine. He saw how tall I was and made mine for my height, and it had all the rows of stage and a little, hidden little treasure area. It's very cool. And so it had to go to somebody my height when I left. I wanted to take it home, but
No, Brian was a good man, and thank you for sharing
Yes.
that with us.
yes,
We want to remember him
Thank
and
you.
his family.
Absolutely.
yes.
Cool person.
Mhm.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, we are looking at number 15, a motion to adjourn. I'll make the motion. I'll second. Thank you, Amy. Any further questions or discussions regarding that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We are adjourned at 8:52.
Our two student liaisons, summertime